Yo, what's going on, guys? It's Brev. Welcome to another MLB The Show 22 video. We've got a special guest for today's video, my man Gutfoxx. How you doing?
Not bad. Yourself? How you doing? Wait, I messed it up. Not bad myself. How are you doing? I can speak. I've known English for a while.
That was better before you butchered the intro. I'm just kidding. Today we are going to make a video on our opinions. We both made a top 10 list for outfield cards in the game right now. Gutfoxx just a little while ago posted a similar video on starting pitchers on his channel. That'll be in the description. You should definitely go check that out and drop him a sub. Great content over there. But we will be doing outfielders in this one. Kind of similar positional depth, so a good kind of video to go along with the pitchers. So, Fox, how do you feel about outfielder depth right now? Do you think there's like a lot of options, or are there kind of just a couple of shoehorn guys who you start every game?
Oh, I see what you're saying. I mean, there's a ton of options, but like, if you got Mike Trout, you start Mike Trout, right? There's nobody even close to him. I think there's overall plenty of powerful cards, but you know, the live series collection makes it a little bit slanted sometimes, at least early on in the season. But like, is it kind of okay that we got these cards early on? Because like later on in the year, I feel like once every card has got very similar stats, then it's like you could pick who you want and just like the names. Like at a certain point, you're just choosing like, you know, body art up at the plate and maybe swing type. I know how controversial that is, but like I don't mind them being so different early on. Which time of the year do you like better? Later on in the year, like, you know, after July, or like this time of the year where they're so different?
Yeah, I agree with you 100%. I like the early game better. I think like the first 3 months are amazing. Because there's cards that we'll talk about that you won't use in 6 months, but they're a lot better than other options right now. So
Yeah.
And it rewards the people who do the live series early, which is perfect. So I like it.
Yeah, for us money spending goons, unlike you're more of a purist. No money spent. Would you consider yourself better than other people?
In many ways, not just MLB The Show. There's very
Well
few
said.
things in my life that I'm worse at than other people. One of them is humility. So, what about you? Would you consider yourself better than other people?
Like maybe at drinking beer, I guess, smoking ciggies, and then
Nice.
if it's somebody that's like, you know, I look down and I'll put it out of their shirt, right, and then I'll just walk away, put some shades on, and then drive off of my motorcycle into the sunset, like a true 1950s greaser. Okay, we've kind of gone off the rails here.
This is the top 10 list you all came for right here.
All right,
All right.
Yeah, it's your channel. Who do you want to go first, me or you?
We'll flip it this time, so you can give me your number 10 first.
Okay, hot take, dude. Okay, just
Ooh,
like you
spicy.
gave me 2 for 10, I want to do an honorable mention. Okay, Juan Soto's my honorable mention, and you want to know
Ooh,
why?
I like it.
So I'm not gonna put him at 10. He's my honorable mention. I got another one for number 10. Juan Soto is the worst right fielder I've ever seen in my life. This guy, like, he says he got 78 reactions, but there's something messed up with this card. 52 speed. Like, this guy's, you know, taking more false steps than myself on a dance floor drunk. Like, this guy, like, he doesn't get to any. He's got like no range. I love his bat. He absolutely one of my favorite swings in the game. But like, he just doesn't get anywhere out there. Like, do you see that too or not?
Yeah, for some reason, him specifically, his defense is bad. Like, I've been memeing Josh Bell in left field, and he's unironically played better defense than Juan Soto does. So, I don't know what's wrong with him.
Yeah,
but
I don't get it. He's got, yeah.
I would never start him, even at this point in the year, just because it's so bad out there.
He's such a good bench bat, though.
Yeah, he's
Overall,
insane.
my 10, though, here's a super hot take. I might get roasted. Andrew McCutchen. I know I'm a Pirates fan.
Wow.
Yeah, super hot take. 88 McCutchen. Okay, here's why. He's got like a Trout-esque swing. This guy, like, I don't care what people say. Let me find him. He's in the center field. Let me bring him up for people on the screen, on my screen. This McCutchen, he's got trash attributes against righties. 81 contact, 68 power. But there's just it's kind of like Mondesi, right? It's just the bat hits the ball and it flies. He gets hits. He hits it out of the park. Like, I think I'm hitting like, obviously it's not a huge sample size. I think I'm hitting like 700 with this guy. Now, would I ever like start him in a ranked seasons game right now because I got, you know, the guys above him on the list? Probably not anymore. But if it's like an event, if it's something that I'm just like hanging around with, like I'm actually surprised. Like 2 years ago, McCutchen had a trash swing. Last year they changed him. I think they changed him to a pull hitter, and I think he's a pull hitter again this year. And he puts the barrel on the ball. I like, sure, he's not maybe the greatest fielders, but 82 speed's pretty good. What's your thoughts on McCutchen?
Yeah, that's a card I wasn't expecting to hear, but you make a good argument. I agree on his swing. I think his swing's insane.
Yeah.
His Daily Moments card last year played unreal for me. His Sig card, and you make a compelling argument because when you read off his stats for his righties, it's not that far off from someone like Luis Robert, and that's a card that, you know, most people consider very good. So I don't hate it.
Yeah, Robert's
so probably a little bit of Pirates bias, but yeah,
It is.
his biggest thing is his swing for sure.
Yeah. All right, who you got at 10?
All right, I cheated again. I have 2 at 10.
All right, fair play.
I guess the guy that I would leave out of the top 10 would be 90 overall, Mike Trout, and it's just because there's another Mike Trout to be mentioned.
Yeah, I didn't do any of those ones that had 2 cards, but
yeah, so
okay.
I thought he should be brought up, but
Yeah.
he's actually minus 10 in every hitting stat from the live series, and also doesn't have inside edge, so pretty far off by a lot. My other number 10 would be 90 prospects Julio Rodriguez.
Really? Okay.
Yeah, so this is another card. He's kind of in the same boat as, like you mentioned with McCutchen. I think his swing is insane.
Really?
And he's also attributed pretty ideal, I think. He's got higher contact right. Everything else is kind of balanced, and then he hits from the right side, obviously. I just feel like he turns on inside pitches so well. I always love his cards. His defense has been a little sketch for me, too, but I've been playing him in the corner. So I thought he was worthy of a top 10.
That's a pretty nice card. 70 speed is good enough for a corner this time of year, without a doubt. Reaction over 70 or 77 right there. Yeah, not a bad card at all. I think I looked at this card. I had a tough time leaving off my top 10, but he would have probably been in there between 11 and 15 for me if we extended the list.
Definitely. Yeah, I like him a lot.
Yeah, he's pretty
All right,
good.
who do you got at number 9?
Number 9, okay. People are going to think I'm crazy here, but I don't know what happened. This Mickey Mantle card's played insane for me this year. I don't know if you've used this 88 Mantle, but I've got a certain thing for switch hitters that, like, I don't know how to describe it at all, but, like, they just seem to do it for me. Like, because I just love having the platoon advantage over my opponent, because, like, balls flying in at me, and maybe I could have phrased that a little bit better. That's my kink, okay? Balls flying at me, it's just what I want. And, like,
You probably shouldn't have started that with switch hitter, too.
And, like, okay, so would you say, what percentage of right-handed pitchers do we face? Is it like 60 to 70% of the pitchers that you'll see online are right-handed pitchers?
Usually it's about 70-30.
70-30.
Right
okay.
now it's a bit more even.
Just because of Randy Johnson and David Price.
Yeah, and there's good lefties that people are using.
Dallas.
Keuchel, Price.
Yeah.
So.
Okay. So, yeah, maybe a little bit more balanced now. But, 95 power versus righties. And he's got a swing that seems to be able to elevate it. I think I like Mantle's swing better this year than what he had, like, 2 years ago. I played pretty well with this card. Did you like Mantle at all?
I love Mantle. Every Mantle card is amazing for me.
Yeah.
The switch hitting, like you said, is such a big deal. The one thing about that Mantle card specifically is his defense is kind of sketch. But
yeah,
he has the bit of a reverse Juan Soto issue where he kind of plays above it a little bit, I think. But, yeah, Mickey's a great option. Always love his cards.
Yeah, I mean, like, 83 speed is pretty good. I mean, reaction 75, arms 81, sure, not the greatest, and then fielding's only 71. It's fine. You're right. Do you think outfield defense is the most important, or is infield defense more?
I would say middle infield defense is more important for me. And this is something I'll talk about as we go through the list, as you see some of the guys I have kind of higher rated. But I feel like every year outfield defense becomes less important. I
Really?
feel like you just get... I don't know. I feel like the difference between an insane outfield defender and an average outfield defender is not worth giving up an insane bat for. So.
Okay. Wow. Yeah. Like, so what's your feeling? Well, do you have Buxton on your list at all?
Yeah, I do.
Okay, we'll talk about that when we get to Buxton then. Who's your number 9?
So my number 9 is Grady Sizemore, 93 overall.
Ooh, okay. Do you like the way he swings? Or what's the size?
Yeah, I actually thought his card last year played pretty good for me. He got memed on a lot when he came out. I did fine with him. I think he's just like a perfect early game outfielder. He's like an amazing reward type for that division. He's lower on the list because where we're at with the pitchers, Keiko Price, like we talked about, Randy. A lot of the lefties I like actually hit lefties really well also, and Grady is not one of those guys. So that's why he's a little bit lower for me. But other than hitting against lefties, he's pretty close to a 5-tool player, and I did like his swing last year, so that's why I have him in the top 10.
I mean, I feel like he's more like a 4-tool. His arm strength isn't that good.
True.
75. But like 82 speed's pretty good. Yeah, I think overall you're right. A jack of all trades. He didn't make my top 10. His card last year came out and it was embarrassingly statted. It was truly terrible.
Yeah.
This one's a lot better for the time of year that it came out, of course. So like maybe I'm just not over what I thought about him last year, but I don't know. It just I put his Sizemore out there and I feel like I'm not excited.
Yeah, he's not a really exciting guy, and you might be a little traumatized from last year, but I don't really disagree with you that much because he's at number 9 for me, right? He barely made the list.
Yeah.
And he's literally a division collection reward, so that says a lot that he barely made the top 10.
Yeah,
all right.
I wonder if they'll juice him this year later on because of how much we've memed on him.
That would be awesome. Or if we ever get some type of golden ticket, I wonder if someone will make him.
Yeah, I mean, it's surprising they haven't done golden tickets in this game, right? Or any out of position or anything like that. They've kind of just kept it straight baseball.
Yeah, they're probably worried about... I don't know, actually. They aren't that worried about submariners with how caps are, so...
Yeah.
I don't know. All right, who you got at number 8?
I don't know,
Uh-oh.
dude.
This was a hard list, huh?
You might, yeah. Pirates fan. I always hate choosing my own team because I get memed on. Brian Reynolds at number 8.
That's pretty close to me.
Really? Okay, good. This is like it's like playing fantasy all over again because like I hate taking players on my own team, whether it's football, baseball, fantasy, anything, because I always feel like I have blinders. Like this year, I took Najee over Jonathan Taylor and paid the price for it in the first round.
Oh, jeez.
And so like it's the same thing. It's like I'm looking at this Reynolds. Okay, I got him up to parallel 3. He's got 88 speed. His reaction's 88. Parallel 5, these are both 90, right? Fielding 87 right here. Pretty good arm at 85. A switch hitter again. I've already professed my love for that. Like it's like Juliet in a window. And so like the only downside of this card is power versus lefties, but he still has 103 contact that way, and he slaps it a little bit. The only thing I don't like about the card is that he's a whole field hitter instead of a pull hitter. I do like the pull hitters better because they have better timing windows on the inside part of the plate, and that's really what you get jammed. But with switch hitters though, I mean the ball's got to travel a longer distance to the inside part of the plate, so he can kind of make up for it a little bit. What's your feelings on Reynolds?
Yeah, he's amazing. I have him at 7, so pretty close.
Nice.
I like him a lot. The switch hitting, again, he at parallel 1, he gets gold defense anywhere, which is nice. And then I think he's another card that's like beautifully statted, like more of a power hitter versus right, more of a contact hitter versus left. I agree with you on the hitting versus lefties, trying to pull the ball. It seems like sometimes he hits kind of weak liners, but that's maybe the only downside I see with him. He's just an amazing overall card. I can't actually believe he's selling for like $11K on the market. So
yeah, I mean NL Central is like the first one everybody gets to, right? So they were just sold that off. Are you
it's
investing
a supply thing, but
yeah, are you investing in these cards?
I'm trying to get as many of one of each as I can, just in case. They'll basically only go up unless they just like sauce the next program with extra packs.
Well, he also isn't the quick sell for 90s like 8 or 9K anyways.
I did not think about that at all. I still have 5K in my brain. That's a great point.
So they really can't go down much. The investment literally can't go tits up. All right. Who's your? Let's move over. Who's your 8? Since we know you're 7, I'll just put it there. Who's your 8?
Yeah, so I'll do my 8 and my 7. I guess 7 was Reynolds. At 8, I have Buxton, which is
okay.
maybe a little bit lower than you might have been expecting.
Nope, not at all. I fucking hate Buxton.
Okay, that's good. I've come around on Buxton a lot. So 2 years ago, I was the biggest Buxton fanboy. Last year, his Lightning card, I was a huge fanboy. This year, I'm kind of meh on him. One of the main reasons I talked about already is it feels like outfield defense isn't high value. I don't know what it is about how the game plays right now, but if you're going to have it anywhere, it's obviously you want it in center field. But overall, I just feel like balls hang up in the air long enough where even average defenders can get there in time. And I feel like maybe speed is a bigger factor than defense at times.
What ballpark do you play at? Oh, sorry to cut you off.
No, you're good. I bounce around minor league parks, Capitol, Date Palm, the spring training stadium. I've been playing at Ship It this year because I think it plays better sometimes. So
I want pre nerf Ship It back, right? Dude, I don't care. I don't care if the game's 20-19. Give me football scores, baby. If I want to hit some dingers, I don't know. It seems weird to me. It was their most popular stadium. Wouldn't it have been easier, or maybe not easier, but better for us to put in some sort of stadium ban, we're okay, if I don't want to play at Ship It, I can ban 3. I don't want to play at Polo. I don't want to play at Ship It. I don't want to play at some other park like Forbes, right? And then you could ban 3 stadiums. If you just don't match against people with those stadiums collected or selected. I don't know if that might have been worked out better, but I don't know. It was so popular, and they took it out. I don't know, a little disappointed by that personally. But here's the thing: is play in Coors and outfield defense 100% matters way more. I play mostly in Coors because I got Trout, in center field patrolling, and balls will get over the head with those higher elevations and deeper fences. And maybe it's because why do you think outfield defense is the way it is? Is it due to acceleration being too high? I've compared it to old generation Madden versus new gen Madden, where players will accelerate a lot more realistically. But what do you think, and why is outfield just hanging up balls, or what?
Yeah, there's a few factors. I think one of them is very similar to Madden, which you have talked about in the past, which is I think the player models are maybe too big for the field. They cover ground like crazy, and I think lower tier shielded fielders in the outfield don't get bad jumps as often as they used to before. It feels like I rarely, except for Soto. In general, it feels like I rarely see the animation where the balls hit and they just stutter in place for a second before they move. Even with guys with bronze shields. But you bring up a good point, and it really depends on the stadium. And that's one of the cool things about building your team in baseball is if you are going to play it somewhere like Coors, it's much more important to consider outfield defense in that aspect.
Yeah. So Buxton didn't make my list because I didn't really like his bat. I think last year, playing, because a lot of people last year were in custom stadiums where and you really need to get those balls because everybody was using high elevation and the balls were just flying. So, but I hated Buxton last year. I liked using them, but dude, if they had Buxton in center field, I swore more at that card last year than any other card in the game. He just robbed so many hits from me. Maybe I'm still biased. That's
what he brings to the table, right? End game speed and defense. So.
Absolutely.
Should be mentioned in my opinion, but his contact versus right feels really bad this year on Hall of Fame Plus. It's the PCI is so bad, so that's why he's lower than where I usually rank him.
Because you said in the last video we did over the starting pitching video that PCI sizes on Legend are even smaller this year.
Yeah.
So
yeah, I took an AB Buxton versus Devin Williams, and I think my PCI was barely bigger than the ball. Not even exaggerating. So obviously I struck out. But
we got a P up there, right? The plate of P's. You got one left for your PCI. Number 7, I got Kirk Gibson.
Did you do your number 8? Sorry.
Mine was Reynolds. Yeah,
Reynolds. That's right.
We did Reynolds.
You got Gibson at 7.
Yeah, I got Gibson at 7. I think I don't know. I'm a lefty. And I swing better with lefties. Now, he does have a little bit less power. I feel like in order for power to really play well, I kind of want it over 90. He's only got 81 power versus righties, but power versus lefties is 93. Contacts are both over 90. A pretty well balanced. Talk about when you talk about Sizemore, this is another. I almost think a better Sizemore is Kirk Gibson. But in left field, and I mean secondary, obviously center. But I don't know. I kind of like him. What do you think about Kirk?
I love Kirk. He's actually higher on my list.
Really?
So, yeah.
Okay. We'll talk. We'll get your opinion on Kirk when we get there.
Who is your number 6?
My number 6 is Mr. Christian Yelich. I have him above Kirk. I don't know if this is a heresy to you or not, or where you got him on your list. But newly released, better power versus righties, but a little bit worse power versus lefties. Contact versus lefties is over 100. He's a little bit worse on defense with only 76 speed, and the reaction's lower. But overall, I think Yelich has one of the finer swings, I feel like, in the game. It's nice and quick to the ball. I think he pulls the ball. But he's only number 6 on my list. But overall, that's kind of what I'm thinking right there. Just like another jack of all trades, getting a little bit, I feel like, on offense to give a little on defense versus Kirk. And I went back and forth with those two at their two positions.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, my number 6 is Christian Yelich as well.
Okay.
Who is lower than Kirk, but they're very close, like you said. The one thing I love about Yelich, obviously his cards play well every year because his swing. He plays decent defense given his attributes usually, but the thing I love about this Yelich card specifically is his contact versus left. I mentioned earlier with kind of the pitchers I've been seeing, I really want my lefties to be able to hit lefties, and Yelich is a guy that is, I mean, he's like over 100 contact, over 80 power versus left, which is crazy for this point in the year.
Yeah.
So I like him a lot. When I made the list and put him at 6, I reconsidered maybe he's a little low. So I love his cards every year. I think this one's going to play amazing.
Yeah, I agree. I've only got like 10 at bats with him so far because he just came out a couple days ago. But it's some of it. You're right. It's based off our historical use of Yelich's card and not so much our small sample size that we've gotten with him so far.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, for sure.
All right. Do I go? I go first. I'm at number 5. All right.
Yeah, number 5.
Here's another one that I'm worried will be controversial just due to defense. I'm gonna go Albert Pujols at number 5 just because I love the way this guy handles lumber. Like this guy is you could put him in the Pacific Northwest and he's absolutely up there with the best lumberjacks possible. But like over 100 power both sides, contact righty 123, and I can get him to 125. Contact versus lefty. Over 90 also. High vision. Have you noticed vision affecting check swings at all this year? Like they said it was going to?
I can't say that I have objectively. In general, check swings aren't getting called for strikes nearly as much in my experience. But how it affects it with the vision stat, I haven't really noticed much.
Mm-hmm. I have been playing him, to be fair, at third and not left field. Mm-hmm. And at third, he is whatever. Bronze defense. But do you have Pujols on your list?
Yeah, I have him higher.
Really?
So
Okay.
I think his bat is close to unmatched right now.
That's a fair point.
For a card that's not tied to live series, his bat's crazy. I mean, the fact that you can get max contact versus right is insane.
It really, truly is. Especially at the high levels. Like I'm playing, like I said, mostly on All-Star now, and that's sizable, dude. It's like covering, a third of the zone with the PCI.
Especially with where pitchers are at. Like, if you run into an average opponent starting pitcher, they've got, like, mid-80s hits per 9. So, you're plus 35 to 40 on that. So, it's like a beach ball every time.
And just, like, if you pitch the ball to him inside, he's just, like, he gets around them so well, and it's such good results off of those hits. All right, who's your number 5?
My number 5, I have live series Ronald Acuna Jr.
Okay, all right, that's a good choice. So why Junior at 5? I'm a little bit higher on my list.
So the one thing, again, it's kind of like with Buxton, it's just the contact versus right is a little bit low. But overall, the card is really good, obviously. Mm-hmm. He comes stock. You could play him silver defense in the corners, which is great. He's got the speed. And obviously his swing, his quirks, everything. He could be higher for sure, especially looking back at my top 5, I probably valued offense a little bit more. But Acuna, in my opinion, brings the defense as well just because of his speed. So I think he's top 5, and I think he's really good. What do you think about Ronald? I guess we could talk about it when we get to him on yours.
On my list? No, I'll talk about him now. We'll just skip over him later on my list. Yeah, contact first ready is an issue, and I feel like as you move up on the ladder, like you're already in legend, like you're already legendary, the greatest in the history of the universe, as you yourself have told me. The and that is absolutely gonna nerf the card. So it's kind of weird like making this top 10 list because I feel like it depends on what difficulty level you're on because Acuna's higher on my list because he's a 5-tool guy. Maybe the fielding reaction a little bit low, like you mentioned, but like. I don't know, dude. When he hits the ball with his bat in the PCI, it flies, right? Near 100 power both sides. You can get it over 100 both sides just by getting parallel 3. And quirks. He has the one dead red breaking ball hitter, the two best in the game. I feel like, and he's got them both. And so, yeah, Acuna I have a little higher on. I won't spoil where, but I like the choice of Acuna. And speed is very important, not only on defense, but getting bases and getting extra bases. Because have you noticed how slow base runners are this year? It's been crazy.
Yeah, I can't. Sometimes, pretty often, I can't get triples with Buxton on like balls in the right center field gap.
Yeah,
which is I don't know if relay throws are faster or what it is. But
I 100% think it's base runners have slowed down.
That would make sense. Yeah, I'm hitting almost no triples. There's
Yeah.
like the extra factor of you don't know if they're going to perfect throw you at third base too, so it's just not worth.
It's a good point. It's a station-to-station year, which is, I mean, it's kind of cool. Cut down a little bit of the steal cheese or like the base running cheese that people have used in years past.
Yeah, I want to touch on the contact versus right thing again though. That's like with hitters. Obviously, with this list, we're going to have a lot more discrepancy than with the pitchers, I feel. Because really what you value changes so much based on what difficulty you usually play on. Like, it's a whole different game. Like, Buxton's PCI is going to look fine on All-Star. So that's where things like swing and preference and historical use really come more into play. And, yeah, it's just a lot more subjective with hitters, I feel.
But I feel like some of the biggest BS hits that you'll get are guys with high power. And like 80, 70 power with Buxton, you're not going to get a whole lot of, oh, wow, I barely touched that and it flew out of the park. But like I feel like with Acuna, with over 100, you're going to get a lot of that. Get F,
yeah,
pitcher.
for sure.
Yeah. I barely sliced that ball and boom, I deposited it and the fans got a souvenir.
Yeah, and the quirks play a huge factor in that too, because there's no objective way to prove it, but I'm almost positive the dead red breaking ball hitter add power. So...
Yeah.
It's a whole different ball game. I do love Acuna. You're making me doubt him at number 5.
I guess Buxton has dead red and breaking ball.
Yeah, but the hitting stats are pretty far off.
Yeah,
between the two.
The power, yeah. All right, what are we at? 4?
Number 4.
I guess I go first, don't I? My number 4 is strangely another Pirate. I'm gonna go Roberto Clemente here at number 4. Now,
wow.
Yeah, I got him lower than a lot of people would think. And the reason why I got him number 4 is because in the league, I said one player is better than Roberto Clemente when somebody tried to trade. And I truly believe, so I'm hitting, I don't know, I guess I got 80 at-bats with him, hitting just under 400. I don't love his swing. And it's killing me inside because I want to like him so bad. Every time I go up to the bat with Roberto, I'm like, it's my favorite player of all time. I got to get a hit. Maybe I just put too much pressure on myself. Incredible defense. Speed isn't. He's not like Ty Cobb, Buxton, any of those like top like 99 speed dudes out there. So the 75 will definitely rear its head, and we won't be able to get the balls some of the other ones get to. I don't know. I just feel like I don't love the swing as much as I hoped I would. And that's all I got to say.
I felt that way about him last year. Honestly, I really struggled with his card. Last year as well. Do you know what his tendency is off the top of your head? I want to say it's balanced.
It's whole field, yeah.
Yeah, so guys like that are just, I don't know. If you end up late sided good with those guys, it feels like the ball's dead.
Yeah, I mean, and like even if you have like decent timing, it's really hard to pull pitches inside with like getting ahead of it perfect. Because like even if you're pretty good timing on inside pitches, the whole field want to spray it, right? They want to spray it across the field. So inside pitches, which you should want to be pulling, like pull tendencies does, they want to spray. That's why like Frank Thomas seems to not play up as much either on inside pitches because they want to spray. So yeah, Clemente is. I love the
That
compact.
surprises me more than any other pick you've had so far, especially
Really?
with the Pirates bias.
Yeah, it's something, and like I talked about, it's hard to judge. It's like what's that one Office quote? It's really hard to judge yourself. Like when Michael was talking about how great of what the hell was he, boss or whatever. But it is very hard to judge your children, your favorites. But
Yeah.
he let me down a little bit. But Clemente, I've thrown something out at first this year with Clemente. That was the best part of the whole thing.
That's awesome.
Yeah, I haven't done
I'm
that.
surprised
in like
the guy was covering the bag.
So the guy wasn't. The guy wasn't covering the bag. I threw the ball Clemente to him, and then I think I dove. I'd have to go look up the clip again. I may have been able to dive with right trigger like he used to be able to do it, and I was able to pick the guy off. I just run in the baseline, and got him that way.
That's awesome.
Yeah. So it was like it was hard, but like I shed a tear when it happened. It was so beautiful. All right, who you got it for?
My number 4 is Kirk Gibson.
Nice.
Who I think that's one of the more comfortable spots I've had on this list. Like, I think he's top 5, but I don't think I'd put him ahead of the other 3. One of the reasons I have Gibson so high, you could say, at 4 is not only from me using him, but he destroys me when I pitch. Like, it feels like most people in the community really like the card, and they're having a lot of success with him.
Mm-hmm.
So I think that's a big deal. And his another card that's pretty beautifully statted, like pretty balanced, hits from the left side, has more power versus left. Again, I want my lefties to hit lefties, and the defense and speed is really good. So
Yeah.
Great all-around card.
Agreed. I sang his praises earlier, and maybe I should have had him higher than I had him at 7, just due to his, everything. But like power versus right, how does so you've used him? How does that 81 play? Has he gotten any like cheap home runs with that, or is 81
Yeah,
just
I've given up a lot of. I don't know his tendency either off the top of my head, but as a pitcher, I've given up a lot of early swing home runs to him. So that's always a good sign for a card.
Yeah, they could really cheat you on it.
That's maybe like the number one factor of figuring out if a card is glitchy or not, is if they hit early swing home runs.
That's a good point. Yeah, and how awful the hits are.
Yeah.
And Kirk does it. Well, it's a good card then. All right, number 3 for me. This is gonna maybe light your hair on fire. You might actually end this video right here, but hear me out. This
I don't know
card.
if I'm ready.
Yeah. Okay. Are you sitting down right now? Bryce Harper. Bruce Hooper.
Wow.
Number 3. Okay. The reason why I have him Roberto Clemente is because I told Bengal that Bryce Harper is a better card than Clemente, because I'm trying to, we're trying to make a deal. I'm trying to get Randy Johnson and stuff in our league. Anyways, Bryce Harper has like an uppercut from hell on his swing. Like I've hit like when you hit like the ball on the bottom portion of your PCI, it's like a round ball. Not with this fucker. Like that shit just gets elevated, and like sure he sucks. He's terrible against lefties. You're really gonna have a bad time. But you could still, I don't know, maybe line one or something. I think I've hit a home run against lefties with this guy. I don't have a ton of at bats because I've just recently rediscovered this guy. Ever since using him in the Creator League, but like, holy crap! Might be the best swing in the game. I think it's my favorite right now. Everything he touches turns to gold, and it's a wonder because he plays above his stats without a doubt for me. Sure, the defense kind of sucks, only 64 speed, but it's kind of like Juan Soto, but he's okay on defense. That's all I gotta say about Bryce. And so
Yeah,
that's got
I agree. I agree on his swing. His cards, I mean, I remember getting his 99 in MLB 17 and him instantly being my best hitter. He was a flawless reward. But yeah, every year, you're right about his swing. Another guy that comes to mind with that is Bellinger with the uppercut, who's a guy who barely missed the list for me. Yeah, Bryce Harper above Clemente was not something I was expecting to hear. I'm a bit mentally unstable right now. But that's the beauty of the game, right? Is like you find your guy, and then when you step up with him, you have comfort, and there's a lot to be said about that.
Yeah. He's got dead red. He doesn't have the breaking ball hitter. He's got rally monkey, unfazed, first pitch, day player, homebody. Did you hear about like if you're not playing at day or at home and you've got those pitches, you're actually gonna play a little bit worse?
Yeah, you get penalized if it's wrong.
Yeah, so the kind of like, I don't know, those aren't the greatest quirks unless you can always get home games and match up your players. But overall, yeah, it's just a swing for me. And I'm probably wrong here. I admit it. I've just recently fallen in love with this card, so that's why he made number 3. It's completely biased list, and I like yours more than mine. But like, we're our pitcher list could have gone either way, but like this one, I've completely gone off the rails. You go ahead, go number 3.
No, I respect it though. Like I said, it's way more subjective, so it's all about who you like. I do not have Bryce Harper in my top 10.
What?
I might pick him up after this. My number 3 was Pujols.
Okay, yeah, that's a good one.
The bat, like I said earlier, is insane. I always love reverse split righties because even with your lower attributes, then you have the handedness advantage. One thing I will say about Pujols is some people don't like his stance, the little leg twist. So use him at your own discretion. But for me, he's crazy. And like I said, the max contact versus right is so insane at this point in the year. And I don't even think he's that bad in the outfield. He's silver defense 60-something speed, which is not the worst in the world.
Especially if you're playing at those minor league ballparks with like shorter fences. Like, what is it? Is it Oak Street that's like 310 down the left field line?
Yeah.
It's a little bit easier to cover that stuff.
I also play him at third base. You mentioned you play him at third earlier, but I do think he's a top 3 outfielder as well.
Interesting. So, but who's the competition at third base again? Like, I feel like there's fewer third basemen than left fielder. Like, do you play Gloss at shortstop?
I actually do not have Gloss.
Oh, you don't have Gloss, yeah.
But I probably wouldn't play him at short with the speed he has. He'd play third or bench for me probably. Gotcha. I see some Devers at third.
A lot of people love him.
I'm trying to think of who I do see at third base. There's a live series guy I think I see a lot. Maybe Vlad Jr.
Yeah. What about Cabrera's 88? He's got pretty good contact power.
That card's actually pretty nice.
Yeah.
I feel like a lot of those cover athlete cards probably are higher than 88 overall, and they just slapped an 88 on them. Like,
yeah,
I don't know. They're all statted really well.
They play.
But yeah, I have Pujols at third, so at third base and third on the list. So if you do play him at third, then my top 3 would be Gibson. It would take his spot, and then the other 2 guys.
So you don't use the god tier Mike Schmidt at third base? He's got to have the worst swing in the game, right?
Dude, it's pretty up there, which is so sad because he actually had one of the most insane careers like ever.
Oh yeah,
it's like him and Johnny Bench. Like, it's so sad their swings are so bad because the IRL they were crazy.
Yeah, it's kind of they do let some legends that were like some of the greatest of all time super dirty like that. Those 2 are just disrespected. All right. My number 2 is one that you've already mentioned. It is going to be Acuna. And we kind of had a debate. I almost sold you on putting him higher on your list. But he's number 2 for me just due to his speed, right? It's unmatched. Well, not unmatched, but it's up there for some of the best in the outfield along with his power. But I think you're right. If I do end up playing on Legend for a few games, I don't think you want Acuna at that high on the list.
Yeah, I mean, the speed's a big deal offensively also. But, yeah, in the outfield defense, it makes up for the fact that his reaction and such is a little bit lower. Yeah. So,
especially because, like, half of my hits are just swinging bunts anyways. So, he's an on-base machine with that.
Not much is going to change when you get to Legend.
Okay, good.
You'll probably have more swinging bunts for hits.
All right, who you got number 2?
All right. My number 2 is Mike Trout.
Whoa! What? Oh my God! The shock of the century. I'm glad I was sitting down. You got Trout at 2.
I bet you thought the Bryce Harper at 3 was going to be the hottest take of this video, but it's not.
That's actually insane. Okay, Trout at 2. Well, that means we know what your number 1 is. Tell me what. Okay, should I just put him there? Clemente.
Yeah, Clemente is my number 1.
Why is Clemente over Trout? You psychopath.
Because overall is the only thing that matters. I'm just kidding. No.
Am I playing Madden?
To be fair, it's it's really close. I don't know. I think Clemente's contact at this point in the year is a bigger deal than people are giving it credit for. Like, if you think about a lineup with Pujols and Clemente, that's 2/8 of your lineup, or I guess 1/4 that is max versus righties. And then obviously if you cue into Randy, having max contact versus left and a right-handed bat is pretty good. So almost a 5-tool player, Clemente. I think his attributes are just too high to be lower than Trout. I mean, Trout makes up for it in other areas, but it's really close.
Yeah. I think, like, if I get a pitch inside by Clemente versus Trout, I'm much more comfortable hitting that inside pitch with Trout. And outside pitches, yeah, okay, maybe we can argue.
Assuming your PCI is in the right place, though, right? That's what Clemente gets the edge.
That's true. That is a good point. But here's the thing about PCIs. It's so weird that, like I don't know. I feel like PCI is going to say, oh, it's not the actual path of the bat, whatever. But I feel like if the ball is completely surrounded by the PCI, it should be like a hard hit ball, right? Like, even if it's like near the edge, because that's the PCI, right? That means that's your solid contact area. The ball's completely within your solid contact area. It should be a fucking line shot. But oftentimes, if it is in your solid contact area, it's gonna be a pop up. And then I've seen other ones like off the PCI that are like hard hits, and I'm like, that's off my PCI. Why is that hit so hard? Whereas ones that I'm closer to, it's hit weaker. And I don't know. It's so confusing at times. And I think some of that inconsistency is why there's so much frustration out there. People say, oh, that's just baseball. But it's like, I don't know. At a certain sense, it's physics, right? Like, shouldn't, like...
Yeah.
Like, if you barrel the ball up, I feel like it should be a hard hit just based off what you think the contact would be. Is better. I don't know. So, yeah, I just feel like Trout's got maybe more consistent strength and power, and I think Clemente, sorry to ramble so long, Clemente does give me a lot of bullshit singles, like where I'm like, I shouldn't have got that one. He turned that shit into like a bullshit single, whereas Trout hits me obviously fewer of them but more bullshit home runs.
Yeah,
so
100%. Trout's the king of that.
Yeah. Dang, you got.
So I guess we can talk about why Trout's so good.
Yeah,
because I'm guessing by your reaction you have him at 1.
Oh yeah, definitely.
The quirks, obviously, I think he's got dead red breaking ball as well. He's basically always playing up on inside edge. He's reverse split righty, which is great. He's actually faster this year than he has been in previous years. 89 is a bit high for his speed, so that with the gold defense and center is basically a 5-tool, pretty close to it. And then, yeah, he's the king of just off PCI, moonshots, early swing home runs. He does it all.
And a really quick right-handed swing. It feels like he really gets around and gets that good contact inside, too.
And underrated is his speed is so high that he doesn't get shifted before 2 strikes, which is a big deal.
Yeah, that shift went away now. I forgot about that.
Yeah, I think if you get a guy to 86 speed or higher, they don't get shifted.
Wow, I forgot about that. I heard statistically right-handed shifts are actually like bad, and they actually do worse for you than not shifting against righties. Left-handed shifts.
Interesting.
Left-handed shifts are obviously great; they kill lefties. But right-handed shifts, I heard, are actually worse for you, worse for your defense. But yeah, I think just 5-tool. I think the high speed for Trout really matters too, offensively and defensively. And then like we talked about. Obviously, Clemente doesn't really have a reverse platoon. He's just like 125 against both ways with similar power. But 95, you almost want to go against a righty with your Mike Trout. You either have the platoon advantage or you're already jazzed up.
Yeah, he's a beautiful card every year.
He truly is. And any other?
All right, so with your list, your ideal outfield would look like what, and where would you play them?
You know, I'm such a homer. My actual outfield is Brian Reynolds, Roberto Clemente, Mike Trout. But
nice.
The best one, if I put Pujols at third, if I just say, all right, I need to win this game. What difficulty level am I playing at though?
Let's go Hall of Fame.
If I'm at Hall of Fame difficulty level, my outfield's Mike Trout guaranteed. I think I will go Clemente. And then, do I know who my opponent's gonna start?
Probably not.
Then I got to risk going against Randy. I will say Bryce has got a major weakness. It depends on what the rest of my lineup like. If I'm not starting Mauer, if I'm not starting another lefty, I think Harper might be out there. Otherwise,
yeah. You can always have a bench bat protection for Harper too.
Yeah. I think I'm gonna go with maybe Acuna subbing for Harper there and left. But yeah, if
a little Acuna Harper platoon would be nice.
Yeah, and then Clemente right, Trout center. What about you?
Yeah, so I'd have Pujols at third base, so then I'd have Gibson, Trout, Clemente. So not that far off.
Yeah, you like Gibson? I like Reynolds switch hitting. I like having a few switch hitters, so that way I'm not too bad. And Gibson's a lefty, and go Harper lefty. Yeah, I like that there's a lot of options there outside of like center field. For that at least one.
Yeah, circling back to the beginning of the video, I feel like there's several cards that are like top tier outfielders right now, which is nice. We are gonna wrap it up there. Don't forget to check out the starting pitcher version of this on Gutfoxx's channel. Once again, in the description below. Do you have anything to say as we sign off here, Fox?
No, I just thank you for allowing me to be a part of your channel and your time. You know, the god tier at everything man you are, and appreciate you blessing us plebes and lesser human
Likewise
beings.
to you, man. Thanks for coming on. Thanks for having me on your video.
No problem.
We'll see you guys in the next one.